Hello friends, and welcome to the final video of my breathing series. So far we talked about instrumental breathing, exercises you can do at home to help you practice it, as well as breathing and singing, and circular breathing, most commonly found with saxophone and clarinet players. Today's topic sits very close to my heart, and it is playing and flute. First of all, I would like to talk about the instrument itself. The flute is a woodwind instrument that needs no reed. It has a head and a body, as well as holes, and we call these claps. It is made out of silver, but don't get confused, it's still a woodwind instrument because you can make flutes out of wind and glass too. The reason why silver was used was because the duration and the tone of the instrument were kept in mind. The wood and the glass flutes, of course, have a different sound and can sometimes have a different pitch too. People have been playing these types of instruments for thousands of years. There have been excavations in the caves in Germany, in China, and in India. Today, what I have here is called a Western concert flute. Of course, in different cultures in today's world, we have different types of flutes. For instance, there are Indian, Chinese, and Korean flutes, as well as Japanese, Madagascar, and Armenian flutes. Most of these are probably made out of bamboo or different types of wood. Going back to the concert flute though, this instrument is the descendant of the German concert flute and is taught in conservatoires and music schools all across the world. The most commonly used techniques on this instrument are dynamic breathing and circular breathing. We already covered circular breathing in my previous video, so I'm going to address dynamic breathing from now on. Of course, we sort of learned about that too, and here's why. When we started this learning journey, we learned the basics of breathing techniques, which is your abdominal breathing. But all of the techniques we used, apart from circular breathing, can be put under the term dynamic breathing. Let me explain. We first started with our abdominal breathing, as I said, and that is your diaphragm pushing out your air, or you engaging your diaphragm in order to control the air you're pushing out. However, there are three parts to dynamic breathing. One, as already said, was your abdominal breathing. Two is your intercostal breathing, which is your ribs basically, and three is your chest breathing. Your intercostal breathing is your ribs and your whole torso, and it's usually used with abdominal breathing. So if you put your hands on your ribs here and try to inflate your upper torso, you might feel the way your ribs grow apart when you breathe in, like this. Your chest breathing is not really that important because it has a really small capacity and there are not really that many muscles we can control here. It is the breathing we use when we feel really nervous. The combination of these three layers is very important in flute breathing, and that is simply because we have an open embouchure, meaning we blow freely into this hole here rather than creating a buzzing sound and blowing into a tube. Breath support with woodwinds is extremely important because it helps us express ourselves with our instrument. It is important with dynamics, with stabilizing intonation and pitch, and expressive effects like vibrato. We use it when we want to play for longer and sustain a phrase or not stop for air in the middle of our musical sentence. Good control of your diaphragm is crucial. For instance, when we want to create dynamics, when we play piano, we want to push less air out with the same amount of pressure. This can come with the danger of not really playing the note. When we want to play forte or loud, we push the same amount of pressure but more air, and that can lead to overblowing the note or ruining the intonation of the pitch of the same note. Here are a few exercises you can do when you're first starting out to help you gain control over your airstream and your dynamic range. For both of these exercises, you will need your flute. However, if you still don't have one, it is okay to use a piece of paper like one that we used a few videos ago for another exercise. What we're going to try and do is increase and decrease the amount of air we push into our flute while keeping the air pressure same and the diaphragm engaged. We are going to take an easy note in the lower register, such as an A or an E. Let's try it together. What I did that is accidentally overblow a note, but that is okay, because the more we exercise, the more we get it right, and the bigger our dynamic range is. The second exercise is to increase your stamina. What we're going to do is take the same note or a different note we took last time. I took an E. Now I'm going to take an A. And we're going to breathe in for 2, hold for 2, play for 2, and then hold for 2 again. But the way this exercise works is that with each time we feel comfortable with, we're going to add 2 seconds onto this. So eventually we might be able to breathe for 10, hold for 10, play for 10, and then hold for 10 again. Try and empty your lungs before you first breathe in, because that way you might be able to feel the air that is inflating them. Let's try it together. Again, if you don't have your flute, it's okay, just use a piece of paper for now. That is basically it. It doesn't seem like much, but if you practice it over and over again, it will increase your stamina, and you will be able to play for much longer times. One exclamation I have with this exercise is that if you reach an count that you can't push longer, so if you, for instance, can count to 4 while breathing in or out, practice it over and over while you're warming up. And eventually, if you feel comfortable and like it's coming easy to you, you can increase the count. Okay, friends, thank you for coming to my lessons and learning about breathing with me. I will see you in some other video, but until then, keep practicing.